Yep.
Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, August 17th, 2020, and the Waukegan City Council virtual regular city council meeting is in session. Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Turner. Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Taylor.
Present.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Moiseo.
Present.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Present.
Mayor Cunningham.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Invocation will be led by Alderman Bolton. Alderman Bolton.
Yes. 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 Let us pray. Father God, we just come to your presence with a spirit of thanksgiving, an attitude of gratitude. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for your blessings that are upon this city. Lord, we ask, Father God, that as we come with an attitude of gratitude, we thank you for all that serve our city tirelessly. Thank you even for our constituents. May your spirit of peace and comfort and blessings be upon them, especially those that are suffering right now due to the COVID-19 and other ailments and incidents that causes great pain. May your spirit just comfort them through this time of suffering. Lord, we thank you for the courage of our mayor and our city council. Lord, we ask that you give us how to navigate through this agenda this evening, that we might be a positive thread in causing our city to move forward. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Okay. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mayor's comments. Good evening. COVID-19. Tonight, I want to update you all about COVID-19. The positivity rate in parts of the state are increasing. And in Region 4, which includes East St. Louis, due to increasing rates, the state announced mitigation efforts which closes down and limits certain activities. Everyone, we do not want mitigation efforts to shut things down here in Lake County, more specifically in Waukegan. But that's why we are going to be continuing to follow the medical advice of our medical professionals at the CDC, Illinois Department of Public Health, and our own Lake County Health Department. While we're open, it does not mean that we need to relax, everybody. Face covers, social distancing, young men and young ladies at the ballparks, at our beaches, parties, you must stop. This virus is not playing. It doesn't have a race, a religion. We cannot afford to go backwards. Everyone is trying to do their part. We're asking you, please wear your face covers. I want to thank the vast majority of our businesses throughout Waukegan who are doing a fantastic job of asking everyone as they come in, and they're adhering to that. We have noticed, though, there are a couple of our bars who simply refuse to accept their responsibility. I'm here to tell you, myself, along with the aldermen in those particular wards, if we need to, we will shut you down. We cannot go back. Everybody has to play their role in this process. Anyone out there, please give us a call, or Lake County Health Department, if you see those who are not adhering to these, more particularly to the face cover. You bars, who will continue to not adhere to these guidelines, we will shut you down. Please continue to follow the 3 W's. Wear your face covering, wash your hands, watch your social distancing, and also please be safe and follow the recommended guidelines when you travel. Construction numbers. I want to take a moment to shout out the great work our Waukegan Public Building Department is doing. I recently requested some information about how much construction we're permitting over the past 5 years, and I'm pleased to report that not only has the value of construction in Waukegan significantly increased each year since 2016, but we'll continue to have construction such as ongoing great success at bridge development. And for Alderman, I can get you those numbers. Just recently here in 2016, and these are building permit numbers, 72 million in 2016, 79 million in 2017, 94 million in 2018, 120 million in 2019. As of July's numbers, we're at $54 million in building permit fees. Simply what that means that our building department is issuing building permits, but more importantly, our code enforcement departments are out there catching a lot of things that was not normally caught in the past. Great news, Carnegie Library. As some of you saw the press release or news story, we're happy to announce that we have officially transferred possession of the Carnegie Library to the Waukegan Park District, who have some wonderful plans in place for restoring this hidden jewel in our downtown. Thank you to everyone who worked to make this possible. Exciting things ahead for our Waukegan Carnegie Library, Waukegan Museum. And a special shout out to David and Jane, our Public Works Department. Over the weekend, they were all three were out there moving, picking, lifting, rearranging. They did a tremendous job of getting this building ready for its transition. So Alderman, when you get a chance, please congratulate David and Jane, and along with our Public Works crew who were there Saturday and Sunday to make sure that transition was finalized. Census. Please fill out the census. Remind your neighbors, friends, family. Door-to-door census takers are going around tables, are out around the city at stores, laundromats, and other public spots. It takes less than 5 minutes, and it means more federal funding for our community. We're going to be doing, Alderman, I'm going to try to get all of those who are doing the door-to-door in City Hall and do a Facebook Live about who they are, what they're doing, what to look for, and not to be alarmed, and show some of the credentials. Again, if you can show that you yourselves have taken the census, that are greatly be appreciated. Fire Department, our Waukegan Fire Department is hiring. I'm gonna say that again. Our Waukegan Fire Department is hiring. Applications may be downloaded from the WaukeganIL.gov. Once completed, the application must be turned in by August the 28th to Fire Station 1, 1101 Belvedere Road. If you want a great career as a firefighter in Waukegan, Illinois, this is the time. Storm damage. Thank you to all those public works staff who helped clean up following the big storm last week. If you have some trees that are down in your backyard, please get them to the front on the parkway. Give us a call at 847-360-0944. Our Public Works Department is already on alert and ready to pick up that brush. Library updates. As a reminder, the library is offering curbside services by appointment Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the main branch, County in Clayton, and by appointment Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Hinkston Fieldhouse branch. Details can be found at www.waukeganpl.org/curbside. Patrons can reach out to via the website catalog, place a hold, and they will call you when it is ready. Additionally, patrons can call 847-623-2441, extension 236. Again, 847-623-2041, extension 236. To speak with staff members Monday to Friday, 10 to 5. The library is expanding services weekly in hopes to have patrons back in for the computer use and additional services, print, scan, fax, notary soon through a date not to be determined. Food and PPE giveaway on Saturday, August the 22nd from 12 to 3 p.m. at Jesus Name Apostolic Church located at 210 South Genesee Street. Again, 210 South Genesee Street, Waukegan, Illinois. There will be an essentials needs drive-through giveaway. Former Stevenson graduate and Lake County resident, Mr. David Simon, teamed up with his point guard, former NBA player, Mike Taylor, and partnered with the Taylor Made Foundation to provide fresh food, PPE supplies, health handouts with the goal of serving 500 families. Ray Bradbury, August 22nd is Ray Bradbury's 100th birthday. City and several partners plan big events, but they have been canceled due to the COVID-19. However, a page has been created on the website honoring Ray. Additionally, Ray Bradbury Experience Museum at 13 North Genesee Street is inviting people to visit the museum in person for free, but with reservation. Make reservations at Ray Bradbury experiencemuseum.org. Again, Ray Bradbury experiencemuseum.org/centennial. We want to give a condolences on behalf of the mayor's office, of the aldermen, and the great citizens of Waukegan to the Jonum family. Marjorie Jonum Rosser had her services this past weekend. And as many of you know, John Jonum, well-respected attorney in our community, and his wife, I just extend their thank you to the mayor's office, all of the aldermen, the great citizens, for sending their condolences and paying their respects. That is all for me right now with mayor's comments. Did I miss anything on from, that was it, right? All right, proclamation. There is a motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Florin, for August 18th, 2020 is United Conveyors Corporation's 100th anniversary in the city of Waukegan. We're going to stop out and give a proclamation. Alderman Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, that is in your ward. We'll make sure we get that information out to you when we're coming. All right. There's a motion on the floor in a second. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner. Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton. Alderman Bolton.
She's on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, Alderman Bolton.
Along with the dog, I said aye.
Alderman Seeger. Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Motion's passed and carried. Thank you. Congratulations to United Conveyor for the 100th anniversary in Waukegan. That's a remarkable for them to be in our community this long and still in business. We're very excited about that. Right now, we're going to go to audience time. Mr. David Motley will be replacing me right here to go over that.
Okay, good evening. Audience time is as follows. I was asked to read the initial statement. The city of Waukegan received the same form letter from 28 recipients. As we are always looking to condense repetitive comments in the interest of time, here's a list of persons submitting this letter. Venecia Rodriguez, Leslie Honorato, Connor Smith, Ray Mitchell, Cassandra Delgado, Victor Solano, Maria Gaitan Martinez, Patrick Flores, Adriana Erica, Gabriela Tinoco, Julianne Ballard, Michelle Liu, Jose Mendoza, Mercedes Alvarez, Tracy Matute, Liliana Gaitan, Alexandra, Danny G, Mason Ramirez, Jandeli Romero, Angeles Sanchez, Giselle Thompson, Marianne Chewy, Michelle Hinojosa, Dr. Dylan Burdett, Adriana Castillo, Brandon Anaya, and Aurora Flores. I'm here to express my disapproval that you approved not only the $30,000 to restock riot gear for the Waukegan Police Department, but $378,000 in police station interior renovations as well. Additionally, the comments made by 3rd Ward Alderman Moisio claiming that our city needs more police were highly alarming. Our city currently gives 48.82% of our general revenue fund to the Waukegan Police Department. Our community cannot afford to spend another dime on the over-policing of our constituents. Recently, a petition was submitted to the Waukegan City Council calling for reallocating city funds, increasing equity, and funding social services. This petition also called for a 50% reduction in the 2021 fiscal year budget for the Waukegan Police Department. As your constituent, I am here to voice my support for the demands of the submitted petition. We cannot afford to continue stripping our community of resources we need. This council has not represented my best interests, and I hope the demands of this petition, including the 50% reduction in police funding, are met. The next is from Karen Byers. Karen Byers, 5th Ward. Mayor Cunningham and members of the Waukegan City Council, I am concerned about the daily increase in coronavirus confirmed positive tests and deaths in Illinois. Public health officials tell us to expect worse before better and probably rolling back to shutdowns. I have, through the pandemic, followed every guideline of prevention of the spread of the virus. I am dismayed that the Waukegan has followed Illinois into phase 4 when every day I see behavior and attitudes that are not paying consistent attention to prevention. Every time I run an essential errand to a grocery store, I see the grocery stores trying their very best to clean, to guide, to post signage about mask requirements. And in every trip to the grocery store, I see loads of customers with wearing masks, meaning they are wearing them below their noses or around their necks or hanging out of their pockets. I am most dismayed by pharmacies where even employees are not consistently wearing masks. Most disappointing are some establishments which serve alcohol. Before phase 4, I observed and reported to my alderman a tavern in which 15 people were seated inside, 9 of them at the bar, and none wearing masks. Neither was the bartender wearing a mask. A second business serving alcohol in an outdoor seating announced their policy would require everyone to be respectful of everyone. I asked what that meant. The owner told me he could not require customers to social distance or wear masks. Sure he can, and he can take some responsibility for community health if he wants to. I think the city should compel him to. I'm sure city officials could do more to monitor compliance of businesses with public health policies, but you don't need to do a check on Target. I checked them today. They're doing a fantastic job with everything they can think of. Hand sanitizers everywhere, plastic guards, free masks, directing foot traffic into the store, wiping surfaces. I suggest that you could formally recognize them, which they deserve, and you would be spreading concern and awareness for community health and well-being. On another note, I'm disheartened to earn that the city is voting on large expenditures for riot gear and police station remodeling. Thank you, Karen Byers. Hello, my name is Eric Bravo. I am a college student and I've lived in Waukegan all my life. It is difficult to summarize my feelings for the police in a handful of sentences, but I'll attempt to do so anyway. It must first be said that I do not believe that most police officers are bad people. It is the systems that they work for that brutalize and harm communities like ours. As a young child, my parents taught me to fear the police. They knew that the police could take much more away from us than would ever help. My dad has had one too many negative encounters with the police in his younger years. I do not believe in the ability of the police to protect my community members. Anytime that the situation has arisen where it would have been appropriate to call the police, my family, friends, and peers alike have all said they won't do anything anyways. Too many Waukegan residents know this to be their first instinct when someone suggests such action. The 2 times I did need them and call them, they did nothing. It is disappointing to see where the city's priorities lie. On June 5th, about a week after the murder of George Floyd, there were a dozen police officers and a dozen military-clad soldiers stationed outside Clark Elementary, only 3 blocks from my home. In the ongoing roar of the protests across the country, as people were clamoring for justice for the murder of an innocent man, our city was no different in being prepared to brutalize its own citizens or residents in the country in general, in case they decided to protest for justice as well. The city approved riot gear purchases in case of such event as well. Make no mistake, riot gear is no different in principle than military-grade armor. Riot gear exists to mask and blur the line between the brutality of armored soldiers and simple riot resistance. Riot gear exists to legitimize the violence of an overly protected police force. Even more disappointing is the direction that the city has taken with our budget. When faced with the opportunity to either invest in the community or put money into the system that jails our community members, the city has chosen the latter. It is saddening to see that the city council would rather see residents locked up before they would see people get access to the resources they need. The image of the crime-fighting cop has to end. These statistics, https://plsonline.eku.edu/inside look/how-much-crime-fighting-do-%e. Hello, I'm sending this email in response to recent issues we have been having with the occupants of the house at the above address, 1604 Alexander Court. Multiple weekends have included loud parties and cars parked illegally on the street. Last night was the straw that broke the camel's back. 50 to 60 people occupied a large tent in the backyard of this address and included loud music, a bounce house for kids, yelling and screaming, and highly intoxicated individuals. At least 20 cars were parked, some illegally, in front of driveways and on the wrong side of the street. This went on well past 2 a.m. I live on the south end of the street and could hear loud music and yelling 6 houses away. Myself and other neighbors made multiple calls to the Waukegan Police Department, and officers never responded or even drove down the street. Last night was one of many times this has occurred. There are several families living in this single-family residence, and it's getting out of hand. When the residents are approached in concern, they claim not to understand English, so communication with them is impossible. There are other issues on the street as well. The house across from me at 1433 Alexander Court also has multiple families living in it, and at any given time, 6 to 8 cars on the street and in the driveway. There have been several unregistered cars with no plates, one of which has been in the driveway for over 5 months. Police and code enforcement have been called several times. The house on the northwest corner of Stanley and Alexander also has several occupants and cars. I have lived on this street for almost 40 years, and in the last 3 years, this quiet little hidden gem of a neighborhood has become a loud, unpleasant place to be, with heavy car traffic, illegally parked cars, drug trafficking, and multiple break-ins. I have also found disappointment in my alderman, as he has been notified by several neighbors several times via email, voicemail, and Facebook Messenger, and all have been met with no response. I am a firm supporter of the city administration and the police department, but recent issues and concerns my neighbors being raised have been ignored and gone unanswered. This has been disappointing. I would like to know how the formal process to pursue for making this neighborhood section of streets require permit parking only, having only cars registered to a house allowed to park past certain hours. Alexander Court has parking only on the west side of the street, which is good. This also needs to be extended to Keith Avenue between Sheridan Road and North Avenue, as when cars are parked on both sides in this section, you can't fit a car through, let alone an emergency vehicle. Lastly, I would like to express concern for the need Next is from Carla Juanes. As a city full of children and kids, I believe the right thing to do is to put the money into any but the police department. Remodel schools, fix the roads, put it into the culture of Waukegan for us to all come together and be a community again. My name is Sean White. I live at 917 East Fairfield Court, Waukegan, Illinois. My first question, based on purchases from the Waukegan Safe and Lock, purchases were not expected to exceed $30,000. Now the estimate is $50,000. What was spent that wasn't initially in the budget? My second question, it is very reassuring to see the soft skills training the police department is going through via RJ Harris and Associates. My question is, what is the city doing to let the community know this training is happening? I see it here in the new business section, but the kid on the street that the police department is trying to develop a positive relationship with doesn't read the new business section. My third question is, I was looking over the Homestead Electrical Contracting LLC. They have made it clear the cost doesn't include any pump or piping repairs or installation if found to be needed. In addition, there are cost exclusions outlined in the scope. Question, is there a limit they can exceed the provided quote without obtaining an okay to proceed with the unexpected additional work? Sean White. The next is from Colin Byers. City Council members, I want to extend thanks and congratulations to the mayor and some members of the City Council. Thank you so much for inspiring so many people to become more active and participatory in local politics. Thank you for deciding to move a casino to town. We would have just continued seeing a space while not necessarily thinking of requesting alternative business for our community. Thank you for the purchase of shiny new riot shields and helmets for the WPD. Now we have the opportunity to schedule more protests, highlighting the differences between protesters with cardboard signs and our over-militarized police force. Thank you so much for promoting an industry that is pumping carcinogens into our air by distributing masks and sanitizer. Those handouts will help us fight off COVID despite some pre-existing conditions and poor air quality. I would especially like to thank Alderman Moisio and those who remain silent in compliance with the bold suggestion of hiring more police. Chicago is now spending more than double what they did in the 60s, and it is working. They can keep the proud tradition of beating protesters. Imagine all of the ways that $378,000 would have been wasted. We don't have to spend it on social workers or mental health professionals or invest in community projects that would reduce crime. We save a lot of money by not having to ensure that any city establishments enforce pesky mask wearing or COVID safety guidelines. Our soon-to-be polished-up police station will be gilded gateway to a humming prison industrial complex. I want to request you cut the 2021 budget by 50%. That is, if listening to the people you represent is in your preview. Thank you for inspiring so many people to fight for the Waukegan we need. Colin Byers. Next is from Gerardo Gordillo. Greetings, Mr. Mayor. When will we have a city-sanctioned BLM mural? Several local artists are ready to donate their time and effort in this endeavor. What is missing is the support of the city. About this matter, one of our constituents has said, we feel ignored for not being addressed during the last meeting. We could have finished it over the weekend at this past art walk. We could have been one of the first cities in the state with such a mural. What are the aspirations of our government? Why is 50% of our city's funding going to the WPD? What do you want your legacy to be? Let's work together and build the city we want to live in. One where we don't have a second home in a different city. Putting the progress in City of Progress. Precinct Committee Man, Captain 372, Gerardo Gordillo. Next is from Diana Burdett. For 2 years, I have shouted out environmental racism in hopes that our representatives would begin to understand some of the many perils that we face living in a community categorized as environmental justice. Lack of medical professionals that are properly able to diagnose chemical exposures, minimal to no communication between leadership and constituency, failure to give social services to vulnerable community members, consistent prostration to toxic, inequitable businesses that exploit and abuse community members, all signs point to Waukegan. Sadly, last week, it was made clear that not only does the City of Progress not understand what progress truly is, but it is well known and documented that we do not have equity building social services for our most vulnerable community members. For shame, you know and see the failures and vote against correcting them. The actions of this council have been tone deaf thus far. Your constituents are organizing, and it will be seen at the polls. Now is not the time to submit to this same old, same old. It is time for radical change, and if change does not occur, the people will create change on election day. Diana Burdett. Durante los años he gritado racismo ambiental con la esperanza de que nosotros representantes comiencen a comprender algunos de los muchos peligros que enfrentamos al vivir en una comunidad caracterizada como justicia ambiental. Falta de profesionales médicos que sean capaces de diagnosticar adecuadamente la exposición a sustancias químicas, comunicación mínima o nula entre el liderazgo y el electorado, falta de prestación de servicios sociales a los miembros vulnerables a la comunidad, frustración constante ante los negocios tóxicos no equitativos, que explotan y abusan de los miembros de la comunidad. Todas las señales apuntan a Waukegan. Lamentablemente, la semana pasada quedó claro que la ciudad del progreso no solo no comprende lo que realmente es el progreso, sino que es bien conocido y documentado que no contamos con servicios sociales de fomento de la equidad para los miembros más vulnerables de nuestra comunidad. The next is from Margaret Carrasco. According to the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Civil Rights, questioning Waukegan residents about their religious and political beliefs, immigration status, association infringes upon their rights guaranteed to all by the Constitution and is a federal violation. The only, I repeat, only person allowed with legal authority are the sworn-in, official, certified, licensed U.S. Customs officers at airports and borders to ask a person where they were born, or if they are a U.S. citizen. Mayor, please explain why I have received complaints from Waukegan residents about your Latina community liaison, going around town during work hours, asking Latino immigrants if they are supporting Sam and asking them if they are a U.S. citizen. She has no legal authority to do this. Susanna is violating Waukegan residents' civil rights under federal law. A complaint has been filed with the Department of Justice to do a full investigation, and she has been reported to Homeland Security for impersonating an immigration officer. Lastly, Mayor, with all the major problems in the city, why do you go to great efforts to deny Waukegan residents from speaking at city council meetings? I will blast out the names and picture of each and every alderman who supports this negative ordinance change so that all residents will know. Respectfully, Margaret Carrasco. And that concludes public comment submitted to the city clerk's office for this evening.
Thank you, David.
The mayor's on mute.
Thank you, Alderman. Thank you, David, for giving those, reading those public comments. While this is not the traditional method, obviously, for our council meeting, these are unprecedented times throughout this country, and Waukegan certainly is not excluded from that. We're trying to move as swiftly as we can so we can have in-person now for the aldermen and to the public. But until that such time, this is the best and the most efficient, effective method that we have thus far. With that being said, item 4, consent agenda. There's a motion by Alderman Mosio, second by Alderman Turner, to consent agenda for items 4A through 4S. I know there were some items that want to be taken off. Any questions to the motion? Yes, item sir. B is going to be taken off. Any other items?
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Taylor?
Did you say B or E? B or
B
E?
is going to be taken off.
Okay.
Alderman Taylor?
C, D, H, and K.
C, D,
H.
and K.
Yes.
Mayor.
Okay. All right.
And item I, please.
Item I. Okay. There's a motion on the floor in a second. I will read them as items A, 4A, 4E through G, items 4J, and items 4L through S. And I'll read those motions. Motion to approve regular meeting minutes from Monday, August the 3rd, 2020. Item E, motion to authorize the mayor to award contract to Centric Integrations, the lowest responsible bidder, in an amount not to exceed $154,454. $450 for the purpose of water treatment plant booster station SCADA upgrades. This project will utilize 2018 water and sewer revenue bonds. Items 4F, motion to authorize the mayor to issue change order in the amount of $50,590, amending the contract originally awarded June 17, 2020, in the amount of $117,000 to the Insurance Premium Managers Group, IPMG, to a revised total of $167,590 in order to account for additional and unanticipated costs associated with workers' compensation audit and data migration. Items G, 4G, motion to authorize the mayor to execute intergovernmental agreement with Lake County in order to seek reimbursement of certain costs associated with civil unrest. Items 4J, motion to authorize the mayor to award contract to Ozinga sole bidder and amount not to exceed $51,000 for the purpose of purchasing concrete and other public works commodities for 2020-2021 fiscal year. Items 4L, motion to authorize the mayor to extend an agreement with GHA Technologies for the amount not to exceed $35,000 for the purpose of software renewals and to waive the competitive bidding process pursuant to City of Waukegan Code of Ordinance Exemption Professional Services Waiver, Section 2-458, parentheses I, parentheses 4. Items 4M, motion to authorize the mayor to execute a grant agreement relative to execute 2020 Edward Bynum Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $37,137, no local match required, and further to execute a memorandum of understanding with the County of Lake County, City of Zion, in the distribution of said funds. Items 4N, motion to authorize the mayor to execute a grant agreement for the Walmart Community Grant Program in an amount not to exceed $5,000, no local match needed. Items 4O, motion to authorize a resolution authorizing disposal of city-owned property located at 825 Persian Road. Items 4P, motion to approve vendor payments dated August 17, 2020, total amount of $1,321,676.70. Items 4Q, motion to approve elected officials and civil service stipends dated August 14, 2020, a total amount of $6,866.66. Items 4R, motion to approve final cash out name listed on the agenda dated August 14, 2020, a total amount of $7,087.54. And item S, motion to approve regular payroll dated August 14, 2020, total amount of $1,631,505.37. No other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Item B, there's a motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Newsome, to amend the salary ordinance and establishing salary and benefits for employees, elected officials in the city of Waukegan. The amendment as follows, and Alderman Moiseo, please correct. The amendment is to take out elected officials of the city of Waukegan. Will be discussed at a later date and time.
Correct, Your Honor.
Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Item B, motion to approve ordinance 20-0-55, amending the salary ordinance and establishing salary for employees for the city of Waukegan, non-bargaining employees of the city of Waukegan. Any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Motion's passed and carried. Motion by Alderman Newsom, second by Alderman Kirkwood, to authorize the mayor to approve the fee amendment for the city administrative adjudication officer, raising the hourly rate from $125 per hour to $175 per hour to meet the market rate. Any questions to the motion? Alderman Taylor.
I'd kind of like to see where the cost analysis is on this for how much it's costing us, what are we saving and what are we getting? I know it was discussed briefly in the finance committee, and I think I'd like to see the numbers on that. So is there a possibility to hold this over?
Yeah, ma'am, we can hold it over. And we're gonna hold it over at the request of Alderman Taylor. But I will say this, ma'am, the adjudication court was brought back here because of costs going over to the judicial circuit. We cannot go back there again. I assure you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cost analysis, is there something specific that you're looking for?
Well, I'm looking at for like how much we're paying, how much are we getting back in fines and that kind of thing. What is the breakdown for like the last year?
How about if we talk about that offline? I don't know if that's
Right.
really something we
Yeah.
want to. All right, let's do that. Okay, we'll do that.
Any
Any other questions? Or just wait till it comes back up? So that's been held over. That's been held. And we'll address that at next council meeting. Thank you, Alderman Taylor. Motion by Alderman Newsom, second by Alderman Rivera to approve ordinance authorizing issuance of not to exceed 17 million first lien water and sewer system revenue bonds, Series 2020, for the water and sewer system capital improvement purpose, and 8 million first lien water and sewer system revenue bonds, Series 2020, for the water and sewer system revenue bond refunding purposes of the city of Waukegan, Lake County, Illinois. Any questions to the motion? Alderman Taylor.
For me, I just struggle with this one because if we looked at this again next year, I would not have an issue with it. It's just in light of our current budget situation and the amount of interest that we pay on these loans, I would prefer that we just wait just a little bit longer till the spring to look at that. I understand your reasons, but I just want to make sure that financially we're in good shape, that I don't want to see the city struggling with this and having that burden for a long period of time until we kind of get a better grasp of where we are financially. So that's my opinion on it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Hey, Mayor, if I may.
Alderman Turner.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm not clear on what it is that we're approving. So I get the 17 million loan or bond, right? But what's the 8 million for refunding? Can someone explain that? Maybe Tina? Or-
Is Tina
Hold on a
on?
second, let me see if they're still on.
Yeah, I don't get that.
We're basically refinancing the bonds.
Yeah.
We're tacking on more money because interest rates are good right now.
Uh-huh.
So our bond council suggested that we do this. It's going to save us about
50,000 a year.
50,000 a year. Yeah.
All right.
And what I could have explained it, but I thought bond council might have been on. But similar to what we're doing, Alderman, we're just refinancing, and we're taking out new dollars for those upgrades that we talked about probably about 3 months ago at the water plant that is certainly needed. I want to go back to. We certainly need a water tower. We're looking to, in Alderman Taylor's ward, we're going to have to probably do some looping over there in that River Road for water mains because there's only one. We definitely got to get that done. There's a couple of other subdivisions that we need to bring water to add more customers to. And on top of that, we're certainly going to be looking at, again, as we talked about, capacity, and having our system set so we can sell water out west.
Yeah.
That's the bulk of it. But I can get bond counsel to give you more details on it.
No, I don't need more.
And and just check the package out too. It's on that if you have some further questions. But we get there. Other than that, that's basically that's in the weeds of it, of course.
Yeah, thank you. I think Mr.
Thank you.
There's a question.
Any other questions? Alderman Kirkwood.
I just have a comment. I think that in the finance committee, we talked about the amount of dollars that we're saving because of the low interest rate. I think that we have to remember that we're going to be saving money. We can't continue to wait because we don't know what the economy will be like later on. And certainly saving money is what we're all about, and also trying to improve some of the areas that we can improve. So we need to keep that in mind also.
Thank you.
Have a question.
Roll-
So clarifying,
Alderman Bolton.
thank you. So with what Alderman Kirkwood just commented on, why are we waiting again? Can please clarify that?
We're not, ma'am. There was a suggestion by Alderman Taylor, and
I
a
apologize,
suggestion is
Alderman.
duly noted, but we
Okay.
need to take advantage of this opportunity now. And while they might be lower in the future, you know, that bird in the hand beats a one in the bush concept, probably gonna be better, but I understand her reservations for it, and it's duly noted. All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Mayor, I just have one other question on this. I see that it's going to raise our cost for 1 million next year, but what I don't see in the package is what we are saving to refinance. Can you answer that for me real quick?
It was roughly about 50,000. I thought we said 50,000 per year.
Yes.
That was one number that came out.
In the committee about $50,000 a year, he thinks.
Yeah,
He give it-
50,000.
Right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Bolton.
I didn't vote, so I'm
Oh,
gonna,
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
will
sorry.
say, I will say yes on that.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry
Okay.
about that. Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay. Item H, motion by Alderman Seager, second by Alderman Bolton, to authorize the mayor to issue change order amount of $355,127.53, amending the contract originally awarded September 16, 2019, amount of $869,628 to Do Land Construction LLC, to revise total of $1,224,755.53 in order to make sidewalk improvements. The project utilizes 2018B general obligation bond funds. There's a motion, a second on the floor. Who has a question? Is it Alderman Taylor?
Yes.
Alderman Taylor.
My concern on this is I am not saying that these improvements don't need to be done. I understand that. But the question is, we just had one a couple of weeks ago where other roads were done. And now these, anything over $25,000 should be coming to council. We should not be looking at something this large. And how many more times is this going to be repeated? Because we've had 2 in the last month.
Yes, ma'am.
So-
And ma'am, I'm sorry, Alderman Kirkwood.
I think in the finance committee, the mayor addressed the finance committee and let us know that that won't occur again. There were some things that needed to be done as far as the cemetery over on Tobin Court and some other areas that he took the responsibility. He addressed the finance committee. So he agreed that, you know, that would not occur again because we did bring that up in the finance committee. So we are aware of that. Those areas need to be done. And he assured us that there will be transparency and he'll make sure that it does come before the council.
I think that's becoming a real concern to residents when they see those kind of numbers. And I know it was addressed, in the finance committee, but I think residents need to really understand what happened. And I think you need to explain, Mayor, to them what happened, because I know you did it in the finance committee, but I think residents need to know.
Oh, ma'am, I'll do that any day of the week, ma'am. And you know that. Thank you for bringing it to your attention. Thank you, Alderman Kirkwood. Again, this was never to slate anybody. I've been a former alderman. I understand transparency, but what we do know is this: these funds that needed to be spent by the end of year. We do know that. Are you aware of that, Alderman Taylor? So we made a decision. At least I did. These calls were coming in to the mayor's office. I physically went out there and took a look at Tobin Court, Bush Court, what we call the duplex area, that whole entire Washington Park area. 30 years, ma'am, 30 years. Alderman Lynn Florian brought it to my attention. Then I think it was Country, one of the subdivisions, another 30 years. What we're doing right now is simply going by the CIP, trying to address these issues. They're tough. I understand your concern, and I've assured not only you and others, but the residents of this community, particularly those that saw these improvements, they can get up here and say, thank you. Others will have concern, but the concerns come with us doing what is necessary to get these infrastructure projects completed, and that's what we're trying to do. And again, I take full responsibility. We put measures in place to make sure that doesn't happen again. One of them is when our contractors get around 80, 85 to 90%, they're going to let us know if what's already been done versus what needs to be done, what are the cost measures that are there, and if we want to continue on, we have those bond funds available, we'll come back to this council and say, here's where we're at right now. This is what we're going to be doing. So, hey, I, as the mayor, accept full responsibility of that, but those things needed to be done, and we got them done, ma'am. And I say to the alderman, thank you for your understanding, and I appreciate your continued support when it comes to these matters. But I can assure you, from the chairman of finance to the finance committee, they have already made it very clear of what's going to happen there. But thank you, ma'am, for bringing that to my attention. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
No.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
No.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Motion's passed. Motion by Alderman Turner, second by Alderman Rivera, to authorize the mayor to waive public bid requirements, issue a change order in the amount of $790,000, amending the contract originally awarded to June 1, 2020, in the amount of $5,183,277.79 Peter Beggars and Son, to revise of $5,973,277.79 in order to make roadway improvements. This project utilized 2018 general obligation bonds, general obligation bond funds. Just so everyone's clear, no work has been done. We had originally had on our CIP to do engineering for Washington Street. Because of time and what it takes to really get that done, we will not be able to get that done by the end of the year when these dollars needs to be spent. So we decided, hey, let's take those dollars, put it back into the road program. The roads we're going to be doing, Alderman would be Candlestick out in the 9th Ward, Laurel Avenue, if I'm not mistaken, the 4th Ward, Salem or Solomon, is it Solomon? Solomon in the 8th Ward. These were concerns that came from various ward meetings that needed to be done. Our engineering team, along with Frank, sized up the dollar amount, which is already listed on our CIP. And we found that $800,000 that was geared for engineering, took it out, put it into this contract so we can keep moving. And if we identify some more savings, going to be working with the IEI to make sure we can get maybe some smaller streets in there. Everybody, I hear the calls. I've been to your ward meetings. Your residents are screaming, I want my roads done. I want my sidewalks done. I want the sewer lines repaired. I want the water lines repaired. That's what they're hollering about. We must move forward with that. Now, there was some overzealousness by my end early on, but I made that decision. I stand by it. Alderman Taylor, Alderman Florian, Alderman Turner, this time I'm coming to you right beforehand to say, here it is.
I'm fine with
I know
it,
it's
Mayor.
tough. Folks, I know it's tough out there. Believe me, I know. And
I'm
once they
fine
see
with
one
it, and I
road
appreciate you asking.
done, yes. Yeah, once one road is done, all of you get them phone call. When is mine next? It is. We did not create this problem. We're trying to fix it. We're going to do it one block at a time. Alderman Flory.
I just wanted to clarify, the amounts you read are not what were listed on the agenda I have.
Yes,
Was
you know
that,
what? Yes, you're right, ma'am. Alderman Newsom, do you have, did you write that down? I know that we came. Thank you, Alderman Florian.
The new amount was, what's on here that Tina gave me, 5,973,277.79. That is the number.
Oh, you have, Alderman, you might have a different agenda, but the agenda that what I'm working on, those are the new numbers. So what I
Yeah.
read is
Yes.
correct.
okay, I just wanted to make sure we were okay with what had been posted for the public.
Yeah.
No-
What was
no
in
problem.
finance, what was in
Where's mine?
finance was
Where's
not
mine?
correct, because mine was printed off prior
Yeah,
to the,
prior to. But what was
Uh-huh.
posted online, Alderman, for the public, should have been what I just read off, ma'am.
right, it is.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No,
Roll
just,
call, please.
Thank you for excellent explanation, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Turner.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
He's muted.
He's working them.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Motion's passed and carried. Item K, motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Mozio, to authorize mayor to extend an agreement with SHI International Corporation for an amount not to exceed $110,000 for the purpose of software renewals and to waive the competitive bidding process pursuant to City of Waukegan Code of Ordinance exemption of professional services waiver, Section 2-45, parentheses I, parentheses 4. Any other questions to the motion? Alderman Taylor.
I pulled that one out, Mayor, only because SHI is a warehouse distributor for software, and they distribute my software for my own company, so I'm abstaining from that vote.
Thank
For
you, Alderman,
ethics.
for letting us know. Good catch too, ma'am. Any other questions? Roll call, and Alderman Taylor will not be voting on item K. Thank you, ma'am.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor abstaining.
Yes, thank you.
Alderman Moiseo. I'm sorry, Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Motion's passed and carried. Thank you, Alderman. Again, I really truly appreciate your continued commitment as we move forward with all of these projects that's going on here in our community. Item 5, Treasury Report. The Treasury Report should be in board docs. City Treasurer Schwab, do you have any questions? Any comments?
No, everything's good. I mean, when they're talking about interest rates, a one-year treasury bond is 0.10. That's 1/10 of 1%.
Yeah.
Money's not going to get any cheaper.
Thank you, all Treasurer.
Thank you, John.
Item B, discussion due to COVID-19. Halloween trick or treat hours for Saturday, October 31st, 2020, from 2 p.m. to 5. This is what's on the trick or treat has already become a hot topic, as we all know, because of COVID-19. Traditionally, Waukegan trick or treat is Sunday before Halloween. Council members, since Halloween falls on Saturday, do we move trick or treat to Saturday the 31st from 2 to 5, or leave it Sunday before, which is October 25th, or is canceling it the best route for a trick or treat for this year?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir. Alderman Greg Mozio.
I think it's too early to make a decision. We don't really know. I mean, it ain't a big deal if we even visit it the first week in October. I mean, it's not a big deal. I don't know why we let's just wait on it. I don't think it's that pressing that we have to make a decision in the next 2 months. I mean, if we decide we can have it, okay, people know you can have it. If you decide you can't, You can't. I think it's too early to decide. We don't know.
Okay.
You know, or you set the date now and then you tell people it might get canceled. I mean, either or, but I think it's too hard to make a decision on it right now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Alderman Taylor, then Alderman Turner. Alderman Taylor.
I think if we do have it, it should probably be on the 31st. That's Halloween by November. It kind of feels like it's over with. So I would do the 31st if we do it. I think that, you know, we leave it open to whether we cancel it until a later date, but I think tentatively we should probably go, I think, for October 31st.
Thank you, ma'am. Alderman Turner.
Yeah, yeah, I don't agree with changing the date. Anyway, I don't think we should be celebrating the holiday a week before or a week after. The holiday is on the 31st. That's when it should be. We don't do it with Christmas. We don't move that up to the Sunday before Christmas.
Yes, sir.
If that's the date, that's what it should be. That's one. And it's always been my opinion. I don't know. I just totally disagree with it. Secondly, setting hours for when people can go out and do their celebration, I disagree with that. And especially now we're putting all these restrictions and mandates from the government on what people can do, when they can do it, how they can do it, what they must do, etc. And here we're going to put another restriction, a stipulation on when they can go out the house and go to their neighbor's house. I just really don't like that. And then I also would ask the question, and I don't expect an answer immediately. Maybe Bob will take it back and get back to me. But if we establish hours of trick-or-treating, right, and someone is injured during those hours, is the city liable, right? So, I mean, we're doing this essentially, I assume, because
Alderman, I don't need Bob on that one.
Let me finish.
Okay.
If we're making this decision of allowing people to do something only between these specific hours for public safety, if someone is then injured within that period, that time frame, is there a liability to the city? That's my question. But we can take that offline, or Bob can get back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alderman. Yeah, the liability question, no, we're not liable, sir. That wouldn't be something that's for us. The other things we take in consideration, again, so discussion only. And final for Alderman Florian.
I just would like to say, I would like to see us err on the side of caution if we're gonna do this, just because we, as has been mentioned, we don't know what's gonna be the situation in a month and a half or 2 months from now, whenever it is, and it just to keep the children safe and the public safe, I just think we should err on the side of caution.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you. All right, we'll bring that back up later time. Oh,
Mayor,
old business. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, Alderman Bolton. Alderman Bolton.
I just want to validate that, since we're already, you have mentioned the litigation and precautions, we should just move forward with very much precaution, especially contingent on what the governor and the virus, what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
And like Mozio said, maybe this is just too soon for us to make a call on it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Alderman. Appreciate your input. Item 6, motion by Alderman Mozio, second by Alderman Turner, to approve an ordinance modernizing the city council rules and clarify the rules of public comment. Any questions to the motion? All right, we got Alderman Florian and Alderman Taylor. Alderman Florian.
I would like to speak out against, changing audience time and changing the rules around whether an alderman can hold something over. We've had a couple of examples recently. Alderman Kirkwood needed to hold something over about an apartment being built in his ward, and he was allowed to do that and let him make the decision about whether he thought it was something that should go forward in his ward or not. Alderman Taylor had the same kind of situation with the property out off of River Road. I just think this is a huge change. The aldermen have very little power the way the city functions, and this is one of the few powers that we do have is holding things over, so there can be more discussion, more research. And I just vehemently speak out against changing this, because we should not be able to override each other, and we should be able to hold something over if it's important to us. And I think it's wrong to change this.
Well, Alderman, I will clarify, you're not overriding anyone. Let's be clear to that. And it's from an Alderman standpoint, I disagree with your assessment or your categorization that you don't have any powers. The way our city government is a strong council, strong mayor form of government.
You can't have both. You can't have both. It's one or the other.
Well, I strongly disagree. I disagree with that. We all have a difference of opinion. I think working together, that's the power that we all need, and that is what moves this community forward faster with efficiency. So I hear you, and your opinion is duly noted. Alderman Taylor.
You know, I've learned a lot from sitting up here over the years, and one of the things I hear from Alderman Mosio all the time is, you know, we've been sued enough over the years. If they want to come up there for 3 minutes and sing and dance or do whatever they want, that's their 3 minutes. And I agree with him. I feel like it's our job to listen to our residents. If they come as a group of 100 and they want to talk for 3 minutes, I guess we sit there and we listen to it, because that's what a public servant does. So I really am not, I understand there's situations, and we've all encountered them over the years, when you get large groups coming, and I think we can ask them to condense things, but I don't think that we can mandate that they do. So I'm struggling with that. I also agree with Alderman Florian to a lot of degree that not giving an alderman a chance to hold something over can be detrimental. And so I feel like between those two things, I can't vote for this.
Okay, thank you,
Your Honor.
we're gonna have, I think Alderman Turner had his hand up, and Alderman Rivera, and then Alderman Mosio. Did you have anything to say, real Alderman Bolton, you too?
Mhm.
All right, so that's the order. We got Alderman Turner, Alderman Rivera, and Alderman Mosio, and then Alderman Bolton. Alderman Turner.
He's muted.
Can I go anywhere?
There you go. Okay, thank you. So as I interpret the ordinance revision, it would not limit the audience time to 2 minutes, but it would give the mayor that option in the event that there is some 100 people out there that want 3 minutes each, and he could, maybe shut it down to 2, but he would do that at the beginning, so everyone would have the same 2 minutes. I'm kind of back and forth, but I tend to agree with Alderman Taylor that if they want to talk for 3 minutes, we should allow it. So then on the other with the holdover, I disagree with changing that. I think it's a prerogative of the alderman, and I would make a motion, if nothing less, than we amend this ordinance to remove that stipulation of mitigating the alderman's authority or privilege of holding something over. But if we go forward, I'd vote no.
Alderman Rivera and Alderman Mosio.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I feel the exact same way as my fellow council members here. We shouldn't limit the voice of the people. They have something to say, whether it's 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I think it's we only meet twice a month. And although I have seen some meetings go to 9:30 or 10 o'clock, I mean, again, it's only 2 months or 2 days out of the month. And I'm always one for not taking something away, specifically when it's an opportunity for the public to give their comments and their opinions. Secondly, I don't want to have the hold taken away. That should be, again, as indicated previously a prerogative of an alderman, specifically if he has additional questions regarding anything that's going to be presented. And also the ordinance to revise the requirement for only a simple majority of the aldermen to be present. How long, maybe Bob can answer this, how long has that been in force?
Somewhere in the area of about 40 years.
Okay, so
It
so
looks
why
like
do we
about
see a need all of a sudden, to have this changed? I just need some clarification on that.
What brought it up was when the levy was being considered, and we had Alderman Seeger was out, and he was very sick. He had bad injury. So in order to work the system, you end up having to bring somebody into council when they're in a compromised physical condition. That's where this idea started. When we looked at that and said this particular ordinance is, as I've described it to you previously, is what I consider a unicorn. It's the only one I've ever seen anywhere in the state of Illinois that works this way. Every other municipality out there, from Chicago to Oak Park to Evanston to Aurora and Naperville, Elgin, all of our peer group, they all use the one that's set forth in the statute, which says if you have a quorum present, a majority of a quorum can adopt an ordinance, and there are certain specific ones that require supermajorities. Overriding a no bid or allowing a no bid contract takes 2/3, for example. None of that changes, but this simply sets forth a process whereby if you have a couple of absences, you can still get the work of the people done.
Can't we bring in someone who's ill?
Alderman Florian, and Alderman Florian, under the respect, let's keep in order. We'll come back to you, ma'am. Alderman Rivera,
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you very much, Bob.
Alderman Moiseo, Alderman Bolton, then Alderman Florian, and then roll call. Alderman Moiseo.
You're muted.
You're on mute.
Muted, sir.
Mute.
There you go. Sorry. As far as audience time go, let's just leave them. I've been vocal about it before. I think I've tried to tell people that's not a very efficient way to get your point across, but it's their right. They want to do it, and let them have at it. Little history about holdovers. The fact that this is contentious really shows the fact that we have very little trust in each other. This council, of all the councils I've been on, has very little trust in each other. When I was an early alderman, the only time I would hold something over would be if it was in my ward and I didn't have enough information, and I would let all the aldermen know before the meeting. If you would have tried to hold over something back in the day in Alderman Tempest's ward, you were going to get fisticuffs that day. So we need to tread lightly when it comes to holding things over. There's a time for them, especially if it's in your ward and you don't feel comfortable with it and you want to massage it and you want to get more information to the residents. But to me, I don't care if it's how anybody wants to do the holdover as far as how many votes to override it. I've been up here as long as Alderman Newsom, and there's only been one time that we overrode an alderman's holdover. One time in 17 years.
18.
Maybe that's because we respect each other a little bit more, and we were able to communicate a little bit better. I don't know, but I don't understand the contention behind it. But whatever the council decides as far as what they want to do on holdovers, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna override an alderman's holdover unless it's a city issue that we have to get done and is time sensitive. Other than that, I don't care what an alderman holds over. It doesn't matter to me.
What's the necessity to change it now, though? Why?
I think Bob was then in the going back to the unicorn, as he called it. was probably in place 40 years because the council used to have 16 members.
Right.
So the math was a little bit different. And it never got changed when it went to 8. And then when me and Edie came on, we went from 8 to 9. So it never probably got changed like it should have. But, you know, if whatever the rest of you guys decide, it doesn't matter to me as far as holdovers. I'm going to treat them the same way I've always treated them. But, you know, just if you're going to hold over something in my ward, you better come to me first, or you're going to get the reincarnation of Larry Tempest. Thank you.
Alderman Bolton and Alderman Florian. Alderman Bolton.
Muted. Sylvia, you're muted.
You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, the only time I ever held anything over is because like Alderman Mosio mentioned, I needed more information about that. So I appreciate him saying that. But my only question was, yeah, what was the situation that provoked this stipulation code to have to be changed in the first place from Jump Street? So I think our attorney explained it, or is there more to this than what's already been mentioned?
The only other thing I can add is that holdovers are unique, are almost unique to Waukegan. They're just not used elsewhere. Everybody else uses a motion to table, or they ask to table something by consensus to the next meeting. This is a privilege that you have, and I understand that. The only difficulty that I saw in it was I didn't understand why to override a holdover required a supermajority vote. That's what didn't make sense to me. You still have the way it's written, you still have the holdover. It's just you have to have a consensus here that, you know, you have to build what Alderman Mosio was talking about. You have to build the consensus and build the rapport, you know, and it's not being abused. I don't think this is a terribly important issue either direction, frankly, because it's not really taking something away. At least it wasn't intended to.
Okay. We got Alderman Florian and then Alderman Taylor. Alderman Florian, you have a rebuttal?
Well, when Mr. Long said that part of the reason was because someone was ill and wasn't here, and I believe I read in my IML information that if someone is ill, we can bring them in on the meeting in an electronic means so that we don't have to have these problems.
Now you can, if that alderman is able to do it. At the time, we didn't have that ordinance in place.
And that was just changed, ma'am, because of COVID-19.
Well, no, this was before COVID. It was in the IML training manual I have. I know I read that.
I think that was extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
Well, isn't a life-altering injury extenuating circumstance?
No.
Well, ma'am, we tried it that night, and you were the ones who objected to it, Alderman Florian. But it's needless to say. Alderman Taylor, then we're going to vote on it.
Could we put something in our ordinances now that allows us to have an electronic if that person wasn't able to make it? I mean, could we do that?
We did. It's
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did some. Okay.
Can I point out one last thing, though? You know, I in this debate I got kind of sidetracked, but I would point out that there are a lot of municipalities that put the overall time limit on audience time as a method of trying to make sure that the business of the municipality gets completed. That, you know, the Attorney General's office, some of their officers have been out giving seminars and such, and they indicate that they think that that's a way to make sure that there is a decent balance between the need of the public to actually get the work done, as well as to have a number of people within the community having the opportunity to speak. Even if you remove the provision that allows shortening of the time, I think you ought to at least consider having an overall length of time during which audiences can have the right to speak, so that you can make sure that you get the work done as it needs to be on a timely basis.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Turner. You're muted, sir.
You're muted.
I'd like to hold it over for further discussion. Bob raised the excellent point for a potential amendment. And I think there's no hurry to do this, and I'd like to hold it and bring it back.
Your Honor, I agree with Alderman Turner on it. I mean, I'm for getting rid of the majority. The holdover, I don't care. I want to let people talk as long as they want. So I'd like to get it brushed up a little bit. There's no hurry on it. We don't need.
Yeah,
We don't need.
no problem. No
We don't
problem.
need
Listen,
We're already contentious enough.
yeah, I hear you loud and clear, Alderman. And then what we're doing today is updating a lot of things that we needed to update. And the great part about all of this, we get to get your input. So it's a holdover is fine. Thank you. And and then Alderman Moisey, I think when we spoke earlier through the week, you said it might be held over, but if we go, we're fine. That's fine, Alderman. We'd love to get your input. Alderman Florian, Alderman Taylor, Alderman Rivera, feel free to give me a call with some of those suggestions so we can move forward. But the goal here, as Alderman Moisey said, let's break this 6-3, 5-4. Let's move forward together. I promise you, that feels better than anything in the world than you're thinking or having some reservations that they might have got over on me today. I'm going to get them tomorrow. Those are contentious relationships from council. I don't want that. I don't need that. I want and need your help. This city can't run without us, not the mayor, not the alderman, without us. And if we do this thing together, I promise you, Alderman, you will see a Waukegan that no one else has ever seen in over 30 years. We're the ones who are going to take it to the next level. Our former predecessors did what they could. We have a unique opportunity from casino, like it or not, to beach, like it or not, to lakefront development, like it or not, to a COC downtown, to Waukegan Housing Authority, to Bridgeport. It requires all of us, not the mayor, not one ward, the mayor, the alderman, and the staff to get this done. And I am confident that we can. I don't know it, I believe it. But without you giving me this feedback and making sure we have the right things here so we can, it doesn't do anything for us. So thank you, Alderman Taylor, for Alderman Turner, and Alderman Morrison for that wisdom of saying, let's talk about it a little bit more. So at this point, it's being held over by Alderman Turner. They come back next week with maybe a different spin on it. But Alderman, I ask you, get it to me as soon as possible so I can get it to Bob, so we can get it all to you, so we can come out, so we can all say, this is where we want to go, not where I want to go, where we want to go. Thank you again. Item 6 has been held over. Item 7, new business, there being none. Item 8, ordinances, there being none. Item 9, closing, Alderman's time.
Alderman Newsom.
Sir Clerk.
Alderman Newsom.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Clerk. Just a friendly reminder that the 5th Ward will be doing their Operation Clean Sweep on tomorrow, August 18th. The dumpster will be located at Greenwood and Delaware from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Items that are not accepted are yard waste, liquids, tree trunks, concrete, brick, stone, rocks, hazardous waste, flammable materials, car parts, paint, stains, lacquer, railroad ties, but you can bring your electronics and your tires. There will be a separate truck from the city Public Works that will be taking your electronics, old TVs, computers, or whatever you have, electronic, and tires. You can bring those items. So come on out and dispose of those items that you didn't get an opportunity to do when we did the last Operation Clean Sweep in June. So that's tomorrow, the corner of Greenwood and Delaware. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'll get those answered for you. Thank you. That's all I have.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you. So in the 6th Ward, question about the compost site down on Pershing, was that Pershing Road?
Yes.
Down, yeah. So I get a lot of complaints from my folks up on Sheridan Road, but even further inland about that smell coming off that compost heap. I've been down there several times. Sometimes it's worse than others. But I don't know, is there something we can do? Maybe we need to look at a relocation, or maybe there's another chemical they can put on top of that to calm that down. I don't know where to go with that, but it's a real concern. If you've ever smelled it, it's not a nice thing. We need to find a solution for that. So if you put that on your radar, Mayor, for further discussion, okay? Again, numerous speeding complaints, North Avenue, Jackson Street, Western, Sheridan Road, and now the Amstutz. He had a neighborhood watch meeting in a residence's front yard on Sheridan Road, and I literally could not be heard from the noise of those speeding motorcycles and vehicles or cars going up and down the Amstutz. And I had to call the police officers and ask them to go down there and see if they could mitigate that. In the 6th Ward, we're doing a great job keeping the neighborhood clean, but we're still getting a lot of illegal dumping. Yesterday, Sunday afternoon, I was out picking up carpet that had been dumped behind the bowling alley. Today, I sent code compliance officer over to pick up a mattress. And so we continue to fight the good fight, just asking for the residents and neighbors in the 6th Ward to do your part to stop the illegal dumping. I had a call just as our meeting started in the 600 block of Hickory. Someone pulled up with a pickup truck in the alley and just dumped furniture out, and neighbors yelling at them, and they just took off and forget about it. So it's a continuing problem, and we will continue to try to resolve it. Last but not least, and a happy note, for the last 11 years, I've been doing my annual ice cream social. Actually was doing it down in the 4th Ward. This year, I'm not going to do an ice cream social. However, free ice cream on August 30th, that's Sunday, from 1 to 4 p.m. I will be handing out free ice cream at my home in my yard, 1320 North Jackson. That is open to every resident of the 6th Ward and the city of Waukegan. So if you're riding around, you want some ice cream, come over to Turner's house, August 30th between 1 and 4 p.m. and I'll have something for you, okay? Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
Alderman Rivera.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. And thank you, Alderman Keith Turner. I believe we'll see half of Waukegan in your front yard on the 30th.
Social distancing.
We'll make sure of that.
Sure.
Ice cream, we will, right, Felix?
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to just remind everyone, like the mayor said, to please stay alert regarding COVID-19. We do have some violations occurring. There seems to be some confusion, Mayor, and maybe you can clarify when a violation is seen. Calling the Waukegan Police Department, that should be the correct process, yes?
Yes, you can call the Waukegan Police Department. My biggest suggestion would probably, let's call the Lake County Health Department so they can investigate and find out what's going on, and then they can let us know from an enforcement. But give us a call and we work with them, so we're fine on that.
Okay, good.
Give us a call. We're fine.
All right. And other than that, I just wanted to wish everyone a great rest of the month. Thank you very much.
Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Deputy City Clerk. I wanted to thank Jane, David, and Public Works for their hard work to prepare the Carnegie for the transfer to the Waukegan Park District. I'm very excited to see that building come back to life again. In my lifetime, I've never even been inside the building. It was not a library when I was a child, and I'm really anxious to see what they can do with it and help revitalize our downtown. I wanted to speak to some of the things on the agenda and some of the things that were said tonight. I don't vote no on things just to be contentious. I'm not trying to be obstinate in any way. I believe I was elected to serve and represent my residents, and Waukegan is very diverse. The wards are very different in many ways, racially, economically, lots of ways. And we aren't going to all agree on everything all the time. I know the mayor would prefer we have 9-0 votes on everything, but that's probably not always going to happen. I do agree that there could be more communication and information shared with each other to try to make things a little bit better, but it's very difficult considering the Illinois Sunshine Laws to have these conversations unless we have them here at City Council. So I just wanted to end with a quote I found on the internet at municipal.org. It says, "City officials should do everything possible to encourage as much participation as possible in the discussion of any issues. Officials should always err in the direction of overtalk rather than undertalk." So I'm glad to know that several of you spoke up about the proposed changes to audience time. Thank you.
Alderman Taylor.
I just want to say, I think some of these discussions, because we have to have them in a group, apparently they look contentious. I have honestly nothing but respect for my peers, and I love to hear different opinions of things. It's often changed my opinion of things when you hear from other people. So certainly that was a surprise that things were contentious. I think that, maybe it helps if we talk maybe 2 aldermen on a Zoom conference before, so that when all these are put up, they're not just everybody's talking at once. Maybe that would help, so that we're at least more aware that these discussions are coming and that we can talk about some of these things and edit them out before they actually come to council. Maybe that would be helpful. I don't know. I just want to say to my residents, most of them all know that when I ride the ward, everybody can come up and talk to me, and I've always been very open about that. Next week, I will be having surgery on Tuesday, so I certainly will be taking phone calls even on Tuesday, but I will not be able to wear a facial mask for 4 to 5 days, so I will not be able to have physical or conversations with people. So I just want to keep that in mind for people who, please call me by all means, but I just won't be able to meet you for a few days. With that, I want to wish everybody a good evening and take care of yourselves. Be careful with COVID, please. Don't forget, it's not over. Thank you.
Alderman Taylor, if you like, if you need to have those residents during that small time period, send those calls to the mayor's office. We can get them addressed and let you know about them and everything.
Yeah,
So
I'll be
you can.
fine. I can answer phone calls, not a problem. Just
Okay,
can't do the
Just
physical meeting.
the option is there, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Bolton.
Yes, Mayor, what was the 3 Ws again?
The 3 Ws, you got me. The 3 Ws are.
Or any aldermans, what the 3 Ws?
Wash your hands,
Wash your hands,
Wear a mask.
wear your mask,
wear a mask,
and
Mhm.
social distancing.
and watch your
The
social
social
distancing.
So that's my reminder to my constituents and the whole city. And I'd just like to send my condolences to John Jonam and their family. Also to my mother, Mary Sims, who lost her brother this morning. Condolence to her And I solicit you all's prayers for our family. And then once again, I'd like to remind the city about the famous basketball player, was it David Simpson? Yeah, David Simpson, who will be at 210 South Genesee this Saturday at 12 o'clock p.m. And it is to promote a food drive. So come out and participate in that. I'm sure they're going to be practicing social distancing. And I was really impressed. He won the championship in South Korea, scoring titles as multiple and all-star bids in different other countries around the world. So maybe even the other aldermen we all can collaborate and attend that event. And I want to also acknowledge Public Works for doing the sidewalk repairs. The job in the first ward is looking a lot better, and also allowing me every week, sometime a few times a week, to come and clean up our alleys and our streets and debris. And thank you also to my constituents that keep me abreast of that. Also, being out in my ward this Saturday, I wanted to acknowledge those that were protesting and supporting those in my ward by giving out food. And I thank you, those that are listening, for following the directives of our police department, allowing us to help you reorganize that particular event. And I don't have in front of me exactly who that organization was, but thank you. And I'm going to do Operation Clean Sweep on September 18th. Now I'm going to do a little different. That's going to be a special day for you to put out your extra large items. We're not going to have a dumpster, but as your garbage is picked up, you can also put out your additional items. And also, as Alderman Edith Newsom had mentioned, no waste, help me out, Edith Newsom, no waste, dangerous stuff. She's going to help me out.
No yard waste.
No yard waste.
Liquids, tree trunks, concrete, brick, stone, building materials, stuff like that. Paint,
Thank you.
lacquer, stuff like that.
Yes.
But they
So
can.
those are the guidelines. I'm sorry.
Tires and electronics.
Yes.
They'll take.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd like to, I'm sorry, Alderman Seeger. Oh, I guess he was saying something else. And then I also want to acknowledge with the other aldermen, Jane and David, for doing the extra work to make the Carnegie Hall, that event happening also this week. And they work tirelessly. And all our staff here at the mayor office, even those on the street. So I just want to acknowledge them and say thank you. That's it.
Alderman Seeger.
Thank you, David. Good evening. I just got a reminder, there's a lot of construction work going on in the second ward with sidewalks, curbing. Dugdale Road is being completely redone from Jackson and Dugdale south to 10th Street. Slow the cars and trucks down. Be careful. Be safe. Thank you. Good evening.
Alderman Moiseo.
Thank you. Real quick, is Bob still on? On that item that we held over, the salary ordinance for elected officials, I think it would be better if we tabled it. We don't need to bring it up at the next council meeting. We have time on that. So can we table that? Or is it too late?
By consensus, you can table it, yes, if the rest of the council thinks that.
Alderman Mosio, we can get that table for you.
Yeah, I just think we're not ready for it. There's a lot of flushing out of that. It needs to be talked about. We do have to have it done by October.
Yes, sir.
Because the mayor, the treasurer, and the city clerk are all up for re-election. And by statute, we have to have that set 180 days before the election. Obviously,
before they've commenced their term of office, but you're right, 180 days.
Yeah. Okay. And then the alderman, there's 3 years on that. So we have a little bit we have some time to work on it. So can we table that, Bob, and we'll bring it up at a date we get it sewn up?
With the consent of the council, yes. Everybody.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Thanks,
That's all I have
Alderman.
tonight. Unless somebody has an objection to that, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Make a motion, Greg.
I don't need to. If you guys just by, does anybody
No.
object?
Don't we have to have a roll call though?
Roll call. Make a motion. Just do it. I'll second.
Just make a
Table.
motion and,
All right, table item D.
I'll second it.
Motion
As
by
amended.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Turner to table item,
B,
where is it at?
or E.
B. Which is
B.
4B.
B.
Or B.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsome,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. We'll get something out to everybody. Kind of get a chance to go over.
Hey, Mayor,
Anything-
before we close, Mayor, before we
Sir?
close, yeah, I'd like to, sometime this week, get a conference call with you and Chief Wallace. I got some ideas about traffic enforcement I'd like to run past you.
Okay, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I'll set it up.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. In following up what Alderman Mosey talked about in terms of trust, I think as a council, we need to communicate more with each other. I don't see many of you other than at these particular meetings, whether they're Zoom or at the council. And so it's difficult to build trust with one another when you don't talk. And I understand that we can't have more than a certain number of individuals so that we don't violate any laws. But we don't trust one another, then it's difficult to move forward. So we need to continue that. And certainly when we talk about tabling something, I know that in my particular ward, I wanted to table a situation and I was questioned. It's in my ward, I was questioned, why would you want to table it? So once again, I needed more information, but I shouldn't have to explain to my colleague why I'm doing something when it's in my ward. So I think that it's a matter of trusting those individuals. And we're here to make sure that the entire city go forward, as well as your particular ward. So I want us to think about that. I try to attend many of the different wards events when I can, but I think that it's something that if we're going to grow into a real solid council, we need to think about that. The other thing is that on August 29th at 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we're going to have a cleanup block party starting at Grand and North Genesee all the way to Upton Park. We're going to have refreshments at that time. After 1 o'clock, we're going to clean those areas up, making sure that that particular area is clean. Also, I want to make sure that the residents still need to make sure we fill out the census report. We're not where we need to be. We need to make sure that we encourage our residents to do so. Also, we want to make sure that the bulk items and the brush, you need to call it in. Don't just put it out there, but you need to call it in and make sure that it is going to be picked up. Also, we need to make sure that in terms of the sidewalk situation, if you have a concern about a sidewalk, you can give me a call. I've been throughout the ward documenting some of those particular areas, but you need to make sure that you can give me a call at 844-484-9273. I'll give that number again, 844-484-9273. Also, I will be having a virtual meeting in September. I'll get that information out to everyone. We're working out the details to get that going in September, probably right after Labor Day. Thank you, everyone. Let's have a great night and a great rest of the week. That it? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought I was on mute. Listen, Alderman,
everybody. I'm going to be working with Building Commissioner Mike Patel in neighborhood policing on some bars and bars only who just don't get it. We've had one particular bar that we have to call out Lake County Sheriff, Gurney, Park City, all of Waukegan, twice. We're going to get very, very aggressive with this. You're going to get phone calls. We cannot continue to have this type of behavior by our bars. There's another bar that we're going to be moving pretty swiftly, maybe to close them down for about a week, maybe 2, possibly 30 days. They're going to come to you. Please see myself or the chief or Bob before you make any comments, please. Outside of that, it is always great seeing all of you. I just cannot wait for everybody to be back up here again. And hopefully that day is coming relatively soon. Motion by Alderman Rivera. Motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Florian to adjourn. All those in roll call, please.
Oh. Aye. Yeah.
Clerk, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, guys. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor. Oh, I'm sorry, you're muted, Alderman Taylor.
Sorry, aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
All right. Okay.
Motion passed and carried.
All
We
right.
are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Night,
Have a nice
everyone.
Labor
Oh,
Day,
birthdays.
everybody.
Don't forget we have birthdays from Mike Hewitt and Larissa. Happy birthday to them when you see them.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
And Tina was, and Tina, don't forget to say Tina, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.
Tina,
Bye. Have a nice Labor Day, people.
you too.
Yes. Oh, it is Labor Day.
I'm
isn't it?
praying for your continuous successful in surgery. Alderman
Thank you.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you.